Get started in just a minute. There we go. Let's go here. Ba-ba-ba. All right, let's roll. I got 25 minutes or less because we have another delay, 2-hour delay because of how cold it is, and I got to drive my girls to school at 10. So some of you may be thinking, thank goodness, I don't need another 60 or 90 minutes. You can have results or excuses, not both, Arnold. I like it better this way, but whatever. You can have progress or excuses. Results, we don't always have control over, but making progress, in a direction, getting better, or making excuses, right? So whatever. You get the point. And we don't have to look like this for it to be relevant, right? There are lots of applications for this. Okay, I got some good stuff, I think, today. I mean, we'll see. I'm going to cover refreshing a stale listing and very specific tactical things that I did early in the morning at 5:15 this morning to do some refreshing. If Stuart's here, I'm going to put him on the spot a little bit in a good way. And then I want to get you thinking about how you can, could, should be turning any result into more results. I'll explain what I mean there with this appointment with a distressed seller and results in advance. So real quick, I'm going to drop this in the chat. This is drop that there. Jimmy Burgess. I don't know where he's at now. I forget what brokerage he's with now. He was at Real, but now he's not, or I don't know. It doesn't really matter. He puts out some really good YouTube content. I would say it's good stuff, good stuff. And I saw one earlier this week about refreshing stale listings. I have also included in here a document and a training, etc., that I don't remember when I did this. I don't remember. It must have been the summertime because it was around a challenge that we had done back then. And there's some good stuff in here without question. How you could audit your existing listing, the description, etc., and things of that nature. And there's also some really good stuff in this that I want to point to. Specifically, he included in the video prompts to feed ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever AI. Doesn't really matter what, whatever you choose, whatever your AI of choice is, to refresh the listing description and create a version of it that is AEO, SEO optimized, etc., for social posting. Now, because I've got a short window today, I'm not going to do my social posting, but I have already updated 3 of my listings. Specifically, I refreshed the descriptions. 2 of them, we were doing a price reduction. And at least 2 of them, no, all 3 of them, I did another thing that I'll show you, and I'll actually do it for one of them. I actually I kept one of the things so I could actually demonstrate for you all. But first, the description refresh. Because let's face it, like that can make a difference. Is it going to make look, without question, price is the thing that is going to get you the outsized bump as far as eyeballs, saves, favorites, showing requests, etc. And also, there are other things that you can and could be doing. And when you do those things, show your clients, or at least tell them that you've done these things. Because Otherwise, they assume you're just, you're just sitting fat and happy, drinking your lattes, waiting for, the sign and the MLS to do the work, right? So even little work that you do, communicate to them. Because one, more communication is better, period. And number two, they might not know. And when you demonstrate what you're doing, they're more likely to extend a listing agreement if you get to the end, to listen to you when you make recommendations about a price reduction, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, I think I've beaten a dead horse there. So you can use that. I did that on 3 of my listings. And another thing that I did with all of them this morning, little thing, but it can make a big difference, is I rearranged the images, particularly the first 5. Because on most portals, they show preview like 5 or 7 of them. I think Homes.com maybe does 7. Maybe they both do 5. Homes and Zillow do 5. But you get like a little collage, right? And a huge mistake that I see lots of listing agents make is they put like 5 almost identical outside photos. So you got the house straight on, you got a house at this angle, you got a house a little bit closer, and you got the overhead view and like, I don't know, a different angle of the front. That does not tell a story at all. Nothing. I can't do anything with that. And so I rearranged some. For example, this listing right here, the featured image I had was a straight on view. Just trying something different. I don't know if it'll make a difference, but look, I do know that all of these portals have an algorithm that they follow. And if yours are getting, if people are stopping and clicking on your listing, it's going to show it more. And the more it shows, the more saves and favorites you get, the more of those people looking at it are reaching out to their agent or to you, the listing agent, because they're curious and want more information. Now, one that I saved, and this is just a little thing, but again, I wanted to have something to demonstrate here, is I already rearranged some of the images on this listing. But one thing I'm going to do, this is a fake night twilight image. Okay. It's fake in that, that's a filter or whatever. I use a professional photography company and it looks real, but maybe this isn't the best. So I'm just going to swap it out for the daytime one. And I'm going to swap this down to the bottom and last. In my 5-pack here, I also, for whatever it's worth, I rearranged some of this. So I think I had a bathroom, a master bath photo in one of these first 5. Now I have, what I'm trying to do a little bit here is paint the picture of, okay, this is the front. This is what you see when you walk in the front door, right? And this is what you would see if you come in the back or you walk through and you're at a different angle. I wanted to also communicate or show them that there is, even though you can't tell from the front, there is a garage with the property. So that's why I have the garage here. Now, this image is, that's kind of, the grass is ugly or whatever, but I'm going to take the good with the bad and show them there's a garage, okay? And then I've got the floor plan. And I mentioned this the last time I talked about this, but I'll mention it again. That is hard to see, which means what? If somebody is curious about the floor plan, they'll click on it. And the more they click on yours, the more it's providing, a ping, a signal back to the algorithm. People are clicking on this one. We should show it more. So I'm going to go ahead and publish that one little tweak, and we'll see. I tweaked the description, I rearranged the photos, and we dropped the price on this one. Everybody say a prayer that we get an acceptable offer between now and Monday, because he's antsy. And as much as he's my guy, he's my neighbor. I've known him for years. Man, he is like, he texts me more than any listing client I think I've ever had. I might be forgetting somebody, but he's like constantly like, hey, what are we doing? What's going on? Any feedback with this one? Blah, 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 blah. I'm just like, so I need to get him, I need to get him a good end result here as soon as possible, for several reasons, let's say. Any questions on that before I switch to another topic that was on the list? Okay. Stuart, I'm putting you on the spot. Are you available and open to me interviewing you? Real quick interview. All right. So here and um, Stuart participated in our 3-day deal sprint. He's in the Founders Club, etc. And I thought it would be useful. If nothing else, I'm curious. He texted me yesterday or Tuesday. I don't remember. And he mentioned that he had found a deal. So step one, our 3-step blueprint. Find a deal to use as bait. Step 2, use that bait to reach out to the active buyers that fit the, that would logically potentially make the most sense for that deal. And then step 3, best case scenario, we're making an offer on that property or they're interested in that property. Worst case scenario, they tell us what they want instead. I suppose worst case scenario, which does happen sometimes, they're just not interested, in anything, buying, selling, whatever. It is rare, but it does happen. So you had texted me. You found your deal was a property that had a pretty big price reduction and could be a good rental. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And so how did you just like in 30 seconds or less, what did you do to find that deal as bait?
Yeah, so on Monday, when that was the homework assignment, I spent the vast majority of my time in the MLS looking for stuff.
Yep.
It was going to take so long. So it wasn't until late that night that I was actually getting to some expireds. So I was just emailing them because it was, 9 or 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Emails.
Yep.
So I just went through there, and I started with 90 days or more on the market, of course, and vacant. That was the only 2 criteria I had, and so I was just kind of looking through, and then I saw some with some pretty good price reductions. This particular one actually still on the top of my list on my sheet here.
Stuart likes to print things out. He likes to hold. He's tactile. He's tactile. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so it was a $60,000 price reduction.
Okay, so we've got bait. So I wanted to share that just to give some, like, it doesn't have to be rocket science. He looked for 90 days on market and vacant, and then he was just eyeballing. He was just looking to find, which is a great way to find it and doesn't take that long. Because if you look at photos, you can usually tell. I've got an incompetent listing agent, because that does happen, and that will affect whether or not a property sells and could be a good deal. Or if you can't filter by vacant, or you don't want to filter by vacant, because some listing agents won't notate it as such, you can just eyeball, oh, well, that's the house is empty, so it's vacant. And then he also looked for a price reduction. So he's got bait. And then you reached out to who? And you don't have to say like specifically like what zip code or whatever, but which buyer bucket did you then reach out to?
My zip code.
So your zip code, and so you were using LeadDeck. And so it was your zip code, which again, we don't have to say, but which of the 4 buyer buckets was it? So he went out to cash buyers, and you were tapping to call, text, and email?
Email and text.
Okay. And hey, and it works, right? And it worked for you. And one of the responses you got was what? I mean, you can paraphrase or ad lib.
Didn't get a ton right away, but yeah, 2 people said they were interested, but one that I sent you that text was yes, and I'm also looking for 10 to 20 unit apartment.
Okay, so he found a deal on market. He used that deal as bait, pulled up the cash buyers in LeadDeck, started texting and emailing, wasn't even calling, which whatever. Sometimes we have the time and we can make that work, and sometimes we can't. Or let's face it, sometimes we're tired and we just don't want to talk on the phone. Like that's okay too. People still reply to text and email, especially the buyers. I have found pretty routinely I get 20 to 40% reply rate to email. Reply rate to email. I have no idea what the open rates or whatever. So use what you can, do what you can. I use the thing while I'm waiting in the car for kids on appointments or whatever. what I want to close the loop on with that is he now had someone that said, yes, I'm kind of interested. Let me actually do that. Before I pivot to the second part of this, what did you do since then with that and with them?
Gosh, I don't remember. We've been so busy through the sprint. So I replied back to him. I know I asked where he was looking. So, what areas he bought in, being specific, because Atlanta's huge.
Yeah.
You could be in my zip code, but on the other side of town too.
Right.
So I asked that, but I didn't get a reply. So I need to follow back up on that.
Okay, so did you actually send that one the deal? Did you actually send him the info on the one that you had reached out about?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So today, this wasn't even part of what I had planned. For today, absolutely circle back with him. Close that loop. Hey, just making sure you got the info on that. And oh, by the way, I'm also going to get to work on finding you some properties like what you described, maybe 10 to 20 units, apartment complex type of properties as well. Cool? So the last part of it, what does that look like? How do I then do that? And I would try to exhaust whether or not they're going to make an offer on the bait that you had. Okay, obviously. But if I want to then take a result, a response, a reply, an engagement, and turn it into more potential opportunities, I'm going to go to the seller target. And for this, because I don't want to, I'm not going to put the specific zip code or anything. What is the county that property and that buyer is in? So this is good. This is going to be a lot. And I normally would recommend we go zip code specific, city specific, but I didn't prep Stuart for this at all. And I didn't want to give away some of what he may be working on. Okay. So I put in Henry County. I'm going to start with the 2 to 4 units. Now that person said 10 to 20, but I just want to demonstrate how quickly and easily we can check some data here and get some information. So in Henry County, there are 8 out-of-state absentee owners with multifamily, 22 tax default. That would be the one that I would go to immediately. If I was working that audience in that county and looking for deals for a buyer, I would immediately go to the tax default. I may regret doing this because this part is still a work in progress, but I'll also check 5+ units because that's really what he said or she said they wanted. And it looks like it's not mapped right in that county. What I'll do, this is great, is I'm going to take this back to Sean and figure out how do we find, what are we not filtering by? In other words, when you get outside of the normal single family residential townhouse and even the small multis, different courthouses and counties report the information and the data and they classify them differently. And so we're still working through on how do we have the data set such that it works in a majority of the counties where we can pull something like this, which is very common when we're reaching out to investor buyers, whether it's cash, the landlord, the existing multifamily buyers, etc. So I'll figure that out. But let's assume we just wanted to go with the multifamily and we reach out to the 22 tax default. We take it back to that existing buyer, number one, and then we take that result and we turn it into another result, meaning I have a willing hand raiser. Yes, I would consider selling my 3 unit in whatever, city in Henry County. Well, I just go back and I'm just playing. We keep using this analogy. I'm just playing Go Fish. I go back, and this is going to be a lot, but I'm going to pull up the whole county. I'll go back here. I'll check the lead counts, and I could go, it's not as many as I thought. I could go and reach out to, I could start small, reach out to the 4 multifamily buyers in that county and say, I got an off-market 3 unit. Are you looking for any deals? Stuart, thanks for being a good sport. Is there anything I missed or anything to add for those that are curious?
No. And as you see, the low numbers, that's why I was curious where all he would want to buy.
Sure. Yeah, because he may that 10 to 20 units that he wants, he may be open to a bigger, right, exactly, 100%. So I will get with Sean to see what we can do to get you that that 5-unit plus data in that county, or if you identify any others that he may be looking in as well. Thanks for being a good sport. Stuart also hooked us up with a nice rating and review on Google. So LeadDeck AI has its own business profile, Google business profile now, and we have a growing, James as well. Thank you, James. We have a growing number of reviews on there. We're pretty proud of. I'm going to drop the document that I dropped at the beginning one more time, because some of you, depending on when you came in, may have missed it. Terrell asked, Stuart's bait was inactive. Stuart mentioned that later in the day, he started emailing expireds, but the bait he found was an active listing that had a significant price reduction and could make sense as a rental, right? I think that was right, Stuart. It could make sense as a rental property. Rosemarie, can we narrow the search to include only cash buyers that bought more than 4 properties in the past 2 years? Well, I beat you to it, Rosemarie. So the cash buyers, the filter is well, actually, let me do this. This perfectly ties into my last point for today. So as I talk through that, I'm going to demonstrate this, and then James, I think you were trying to chime in there. I want to hear what you have to say. But the cash buyers have bought, or I'm sorry, they have at least 5 properties in their portfolio and have bought at least one of them in the last 3 years in whatever the search criteria that you're choosing. So these 119, there are 119 cash buyers in Henry County that have at least 5 properties in their portfolio and bought at least one of them in Henry County for cash in the last 3 years. James, go ahead.
Your original stale listings Google Doc, do you have that handy? For some reason, I cannot find it.
Yeah, it's in the one. It's in that one. Where it says also this. I should probably be more clear. Also this is if you hit this, that'll open up the other one. I should make that more obvious. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't find it.
I think it's because we moved it into a different folder, because we're organizing. I'll foreshadow this. Sean has been working like crazy, building out in the tool our own AI. We're calling it Ask Decky because we couldn't come up with anything better. Sean has now fed it 240 hours of me so that you can go and say, ask it anything, pretty much. It's still a work in progress, but we're pretty excited about that function. And eventually you'll just be able to go and say, hey, Decky, can you put together a list of the cash buyers in this zip code and add it to a deck and skip trace them all and get them ready for me to pop over to my phone and tap to call, text, and email. I mean, that's a simple thing, but I was playing around with it this morning. It's pretty freaking smart already. I asked it something about how do I know if this particular property is a good deal, and it gave me a whole like blah 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 blah. Do this. I mean, it was incredible. Okay, last thing that was on my to-do list today. I already illustrated this a little bit with Stuart's conversation, and thanks again, Stuart, for being a good sport. And me, I didn't prep him at all for that. I have a listing appointment tomorrow. I did a terrible job. I don't know why they called me. I have a guess. My guess is they found me, my Google business profile or something online, because it was an inbound call, a property that's in Shippensburg, and I think I've been talking to the son. The father passed away. It's been vacant for a while now, actually. And so it doesn't matter so much. I want to illustrate a principle that whether you use LeadDeck or whatever, a principle that I think it also relates back to what I said when you refresh a listing. Demonstrate to the client what you're doing. So I've got this appointment tomorrow. I want to deliver results in advance of that appointment for myself and for them. What does that mean? What does that mean? Because that's like, what are we talking about? I'm going to go here. I'm going to go cash buyers. And I'm going to pull up, I think there's only one zip code. Yeah, there's only one zip code in Shippensburg. So I'm just going to choose Shippensburg. I'm going to check the lead count, and I have 20 cash buyers. Between now and my appointment tomorrow, I'm going to reach out to all of those 20 cash buyers, and I'm going to let them know that I have a potential off-market deal. Are they interested or know anybody who might be? And I'm going to build a waiting list, and I will say, I'm going tomorrow at 1 o'clock. I will then send you all of the photos and additional details that I collect. And that's what I'll do. Not only that, when I go and meet with them, I will also tell them, just so you know, I've already reached out to 20 of the active buyers that are going to be the most likely buyers for this property because they acknowledged it's been vacant for a long time, it's in disrepair, etc. Like they already know that this is not a turnkey, fully renovated retail property. I don't think they're talking to anybody else. I don't think they have any interest in talking with anybody else. But why wouldn't I do everything possible for me to bring certainty to the appointment? In other words, I'm going to prove to them that I am certain I can sell them, and I'm already working to do it. I'll also pull the institutional offers with fastcashoffers.ai so I can point to those. Oh, by the way, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we have several options for you already. So I will walk them through. We could sell it as is privately to one of my cash buyers. We could sell it as is to one of these institutional buyers, or we could sell it as is on the market. I don't care which one. Whatever you guys want to do, and based upon our conversation, we'll decide together which one, not whether or not they're going to work with me. We'll decide which of those options make the most sense for them. So I'm actually going to do this live on the workshop that I am doing at noon today. Founders Club members do not come, but if you're curious about Lead Deck and how it works and what we're able to do with it, I'm going to do more demonstration than I normally do on those because I figure, like, why not? It seemed like me actually using the tool yesterday on the 11 a.m. mastermind was of interest to everyone. So I'm going to use that as an example during that workshop so I can kill two birds with one stone. Now, I won't reach out to all 20 of them on the workshop, but I'll demonstrate how easy it is, and then I'll reach out to the rest of them later in the day so that I can bring results in advance to my appointment tomorrow. I've already found buyers. I already got this list. And it won't be all 20, because what will happen is I'll reach out to all 20. I'll get at least 3 to 5 of them, maybe 7 or 8, that are curious and interested. And then I will tell them I reached out to 20. I have 7 or 8 that said that they would be and are interested. I'm going to send them the info. And who knows, we might be able to get you a net number that makes sense and you guys would be thrilled and not have to go through all the other nonsense. Can I share the GMB link for Lead Deck? Of course I can. Thank you, David, for the mention there. I'm going to wrap on that unless anybody has any questions, because I got to go warm up the car because it is cold out there, and I got to get the girls. Where the heck is it? Hold on, I have it somewhere here.
Curious, we don't talk about it today, but just if anybody is using, you're talking about refreshing the listings. You can see all these things with Colab and all these other AI generated staging and all that kind of stuff. I'm curious if everybody's used that and what they think. And
that sounds like a great topic or conversation. I have not done much of that, but I would love to hear more from anybody who might be. I can't get the dang. Hold on, let me see if I can find it on Lead Deck AI Harrisburg. There it is. So reviews. How do I share the review link or share this? I think if I share this, it'll have the review link. Copied in the chat. Bada bing. Yes, Dana, that's a great shout. Have Sean start including the GMB link in the emails. I think he did send it included in the email he sent out this morning, but it should just be like, in the signature or the footer or something along those lines. All right. Well, I hope you all have a great rest of the week and weekend. I will be back Monday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. In the meantime, if you just can't get enough, you can go back and watch the replays at leaddeck.ai/closers. You can also watch the replay yesterday's 11 a.m. session and our previous deal sprints that we've done in January. You can watch those replays at leaddeck.ai/sprints. You can also, if you're not using it, number one, you can join me for the workshop. onedealaweek.com is where you can register. Or you can just go to leaddeck.ai, put in your zip code, and you'll see what leads are available, and you'll be able to take a test drive, etc. Thanks, everybody. Go ahead, Susan.
Club meeting today?
What's that?
No Founders Club meeting mastermind today?
No, today's Thursday.
Should it be on Wednesdays?
Well, it's normally Tuesdays, but we had the deal sprint, so that was in lieu of that.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. I'll delete those. Thank you.
Yep. More time for you to actually follow the blueprint.
I've got a great story for you at some point.
Oh, well, let's go. Well, maybe you and I are hopping on Zoom this afternoon.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Hit me up, and because I after the workshop, my schedule's pretty open today.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Beautiful. Thanks, everybody. Stay warm if you're, like where I'm at. Did one of you start the car?